Hey ladies, what are you doing 4th of July weekend? How would you like to get a vacation on the Bahamas sands? All you have to do is answer this question right now. What is the capital of Brazil? Tell me now. Oh, did you say it was Rio Grande? Well, I'm lying through my teeth, so I'll just say yes. And now you've got this vacation for to the Bahama sands, but you will now die by the killer's hooked hand. I'm John Rant with the Retro Review. If I still know what you did last summer, the capital of Brazil is Brasilia, you stupid fucking non-geography understanding twats. Fuck! Yeah, I didn't like this movie, in case you can't tell. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this movie in the comments, please. It's from director Danny Cannon, who did the Judge Dredd 1995 movie, I Am the Law. And Jennifer Love Hewitt returns, along with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Ben Willis, because no killer can stay dead unless you wait a few years after a movie like this came out, and then you do a third one that nobody fucking asked for, and you totally change around the story. Yes, for a long time viewers / subscribers to the channel, you may remember that I did all 3 of these movies, all 3 of the Urban Legend movies, and all 5 of the Final Destination movies in various compilation videos, Human Centipede Together, presented to you. But because I wanted to revisit and flesh out the slasher genre, which is always fun to do considering it's a slasher, so of course you can flesh it out, ironically, I wanted to talk about this more at length and rant about it. Fucking hell, this movie sucks. God damn. They couldn't even get Kevin Williamson to come back to write it because he had other commitments. And they said, we'll just get somebody else. We can get somebody else to do this. They got Trey Calloway, who I'm sure is a lovely individual and a nice guy, but he's only written for TV. And he did like various shows. And look, whatever keeps him in business. Nothing bad at all. Major respect. But one of the writing credits he has was writing a few episodes for the ill-fated Rush Hour TV series. Do you remember the Rush Hour TV series? You shouldn't. It was fucking rubbish. And I don't even think the creators remember the Rush Hour TV series. Also, fun fact about Danny Cannon, he directed a couple Bjork videos. That explains a lot. That explains a lot about this movie because it was all over the goddamn place, like pretty much anything that Bjork is around. Nevertheless, I always laugh at Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character name. Ray Bronson, he's going down to Emmett's Fix-It shop to fix Emmett. The Simpsons. Muse Watson also returns as Ben Willis. It's funny. I didn't even realize until just now that he was Agent Gibbs's, boss originally, or like, his higher up. The one that, it's like Gibbs was the probie at the time. Those who don't watch NCIS have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. But yes, Mark Harmon's character had a boss, and it was Muse Watson. I didn't fucking know that. I wonder why it looked familiar and I couldn't fucking place it. And rewatching this, I'm like, holy shit. That's more interesting than anything that happens in this movie. They hacked this shit out. It was within a year of the first one. And it was so fucking bad. Look, there's a lot of stupid people in a lot of slasher movies and a lot of horror movies. That's going to fucking happen. But my God, this had Brandy in it when she was trying to have an acting career. She was a better singer and an actor. And she was a better actor. That's unfair. She actually wasn't bad as a singer. Moesha was okay. It was like a UPN version of Family Matters without Urkel. But nevertheless, Mekhi Phifer was in this. And he traveled more than 8 miles for this trip. Laugh, damn it. Please laugh. Please somebody laugh. And also Bill Cobbs was in this. It's really hard for me not to say Cosby, but no, nobody was drugged on this set, I hope. But Bill Cobbs, who's been in various movies, including The Shining. He was the guy that got the axe through his heart in The Shining. And an uncredited role for Jack Black, who was a dread guy that wanted to sell weed. Some things never change. Jennifer Esposito, my goodness, she was 25 during this. She looked great then, she looks great now. She's fucking ageless. She's fucking hot as hell. And has had a hell of a goddamn career. So yeah, a year after the events of the first one, which if you have not seen I Know What You Did Last Summer, this is a sequel where, well, basically they just pretty much rehash the same whole goddamn thing. But 1 year ago, a bunch of people died. Well, a few people died. Really, not a lot of people died, actually, in that movie. Now that I think about it, like, there was a decent body count, but not a great body count. And Ray and Julie, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Freddie Prinze Jr., strike that, reverse it, because that'd be a weird gender swap. They were together, but then a year later, they are not together because she's at college. She's still dealing with the shit, and he's still working in Southport as a fisherman. Because not a lot changes in a year. Literally, I swear they must have hacked this movie out like just a few months after the first one debuted, because this was such a quick turnaround. So, the idea is after winning a trip to the Bahamas, some friends go with her, but then the killings start, and they have to figure out, is Ben Willis responsible? So to call the sequel shit would be an understatement. However, we don't even reach the depths of hell that the third one does. And yes, I'm going to continue to retro-review all these movies, because why not torture myself? Oh, boy. God damn, this is so bad. Orgy's Blue Monday was playing in the club, which I always found funny. Orgy had that and Stitches, and about the only two hit songs that Orgy had. Anybody remember the band Orgy? So, Brandy's character, Carla, and Jennifer Love Hewitt's character have been friends, seemingly for a while, despite the fact that this has only taken place a year afterwards and Brandy was nowhere near this goddamn thing, so must be a fast-developing friendship. At one point, Brandy sneaks into her house, just wants to borrow her black shirt, but Julie's like, I'm going to stab you, and then, oh, can I have the knife back, please? Sure, I'll just put it out in your thigh. So anyway, radio show calls in. This is after a pseudo-argument between Julie and Ray, because Julie wants to be with Ray, but she doesn't want to go back to the hometown where all the murders happened. I don't fucking blame her. So, what is the capital of Brazil? Rio de Janeiro. No, it's Brasilia. It's fucking Brasilia. Any map, any globe, anything, any possession of any little geographical knowledge would tell you that. Fuck. You just won a vacation to death. Hooray! So they have 4 tickets. Ray wants to go, but can't go. He's going to propose to Julie, despite the fact he wants her to come back, and she doesn't want to come back. He has a ring. They're together. They're not together. There's also a guy named Will Benson. Ben's son, in case we aren't on the nose enough here. And he likes Julie, though it's all a ruse. They all end up going to, well, to hell, of course. No, wait, that was just a viewer. They go to the Bahamas. It's actually filmed in Mexico. And meanwhile, Ray and a friend of his are traveling. They're apparently going to drive to the Bahamas from North Carolina. That's easy to do. It's just a short drive away. And they're saying, here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. And then there's a dummy in the road, Fred Sanford's son, apparently. It's just a distraction, though. While Ben Willis just shows up and hooks his friend, Ray's friend, pronouns, pal. And then he ends up being chased off the road, ends up falling down quite a bit, like a steep hill, and he ends up fine. Yeah, he's in the hospital in a bit of a medically induced coma, but he's not dead, so bonus. Remember when Jennifer Love Hewitt tried to have a singing career? That's not even knocking her singing, but anybody remember Jennifer Love Hewitt's songs? I actually owned the 2 albums that she used, or that she had. It was either a couple single CDs, or I think I owned the albums. That was years and years ago. She wasn't bad. It was just painfully generic pop music. Moving on. Jack Black shows up in dreads. Hey, the guy's had a hell of a goddamn career, and everybody's got to start somewhere. It turns out this is the last day of the season because a hurricane's coming. And they have honeymoon suites instead of, any basic rooms. But it's a free vacation, so one's got to pretend to be a couple, and Mekhi Phifer and Brandy have to pretend to not fuck, even though it sounds at one point like they're fucking, but they're not. The hotel guy's a fucking dick. There's like 1 or 2 housekeeping people. This is not a well-staffed area, but Jennifer Esposito, my goodness. Looked great in sweats and just a tank top. Didn't fucking matter. She's fucking hot as hell. Moving on. She's a bartender. She jokes around making the most of her TV time. And since this resort is mostly dead, everyone is dumb and I hate them is what I wrote down. This one guy gets killed after falling into the water after trying to dock some boats. And says, hey, will you give me a hand? And then he gets stabbed. because Ben Willis just happens to show up there. How did he show up there? Well, his son there is Will. I mean, obvious, but nobody noticed that guy showing up. Nobody noticed? And why are they on this island? Why specifically this? Why not hunt them in familiar ground? Or is this familiar ground to them? Jennifer Love Hewitt was in a bathrobe at one point, so at least that was a nice visual. 17-year-old me certainly enjoyed seeing 20-year-old Jennifer Love Hewitt like that. Yeah, I was a bit of a weirdo even back then, as opposed to the normal level-headed 41-year individual that I am now. 41-year-old, whatever, moving on. Jump scares and other loud noises. So Jack Black ends up getting hooked in the hand instead of a hook for her hand. And he ends up getting killed with garden shears. He was told to wear something sheer and took it literally. The storm is coming and Bill Cobb's character, Estes, is doing some ritualistic stuff to protect them. This stuff goes nowhere, by the way. It goes absolutely nowhere. They just throw it in there for no fucking reason. Somebody was in the wash. One of the other crew members, I assume it was a full body wash, literally. And then Jennifer Love Hewitt and Brandy are going to do tanning, except Brandy doesn't really need to tan. Kind of how that works. Jennifer Love Hewitt's like, fine, I'll get a base tan. And not understanding that Final Destination 3, something bad happened, despite the fact this came out 8 years before Final Destination 3. Have the foresight, Jennifer Love Hewitt. What the fuck is wrong with you? She ends up getting trapped in there because somehow Ben Willis has a fucking zip tie and just says, whoop, I'm just going to do that. Doing a zip tie with one hand, by the way, is a little bit difficult, so I assume this is probably Will. Because Will disappears for a while. The hotel guy is dead. I still know, scribbled on the blood on the wall, it's Ben Willis. I should have told you that it was Ben Willis, but I'm your best friend of a few months. You don't usually reveal to somebody right off the bat, yeah, we helped kill somebody, and then helped cover it up, and then killed again. Because why the fuck wouldn't we? Meanwhile, Ray is on a bus. Apparently he's just going to take a bus to the Bahamas, Bus-Hamas as it were. And he's medicated because he fell down a cliff. Or maybe he's really hallucinating this and he's really there. That would have been a convenient little plot thing. They could have wrapped that up and Ray could have been the killer, which probably would have been better in all honesty. It would have been stupid, but it wouldn't have been any more stupid than what we got here. They find Bill Cobb's deal, where it's got the shrine and everything in their stuff because he was doing it to protect them. And then they go back to this room in this dark hotel and everything after finding the hotel worker dead, or the hotel head dead with I still know scribbled on the wall. They find a globe spinning around. And Jennifer Love Hewitt says, I should learn geography. Oh, the capital is Brasilia. What? Fucking goddamn stupid twats. I mean the characters. I mean the people. So, Estes knew about all this stuff. He shows some grave sites to them, and it turns out that actually it's it's the Willis's family. Oh no, they've come back to put Julie's body in a grave. They come back to put Julie's body in a grave. Do you hear me? If you want me, Ben, I'm here. Come and get me, but my grave stays empty. Ah! Fucking hell. God damn it. And then Estes hits Will because he knows that Will is bad. But Estes ends up getting killed later. And then Will shows up a little bit later after everybody ends up in a storm drain, the storm shelter. Might as well have been a storm drain for how badly this thing was filmed. Movie deserved to end up in a storm drain. I did kind of find it funny how there was this chase through an attic where you just step on the beams, you don't step on the floorboards. Of course, some idiot steps on the floorboards, aka Carla, Brandy's character. And then she tumbles through a window to the wall till the sweat dropped down my... Anyway, enough of that. No Lil Jon lyrics here needed. And then Brandy is trapped in this greenhouse after falling through another roof because apparently she just keeps crashing through shit. And then Vanessa, Jennifer Esposito's character, and Julie, Jennifer Love Hewitt, decide, hey, we're just going to try to free you and open this lockup with these keys because somehow the greenhouse is chained shut. Oh no, shit, here he is. Let me axe you something. I'm going to lightly tap the axe, the sharp axe at this chain, at this lock, with barely any force, And then eventually she uses it to smash the goddamn window and get Brandy through. And Willis apparently was drunk because he didn't know what he was talking about and also barely hooked Brandy's shoe. And then Will's here to save the day. And he's got blood on him. So Vanessa and Brandy go off to check for a first aid kit. But then Will says, "It's not my blood, Julie. What's your favorite radio station?" And he throws all this dialogue in, takes Julie to the gravesite. Here's Ben, and then here's Ray. Oh, and also Vanessa gets killed because Estes had a spear in him. Estes' body falls on him. And that must have been a recreation of what Bill Cosby ended up doing. But moving on. She gets stabbed through that, so that's terrible. That's fucking terrible. Hot as hell. Terrible. She had a great career after that, though. It's a fictional character, nevertheless. Will ends up saying, "Will Benson? Ben's son? Do you get it? At the fucking hear it in your goddamn skull, you twat." And then Ray shows up. He's got a gun. No bullets. Why don't you keep that in mind? So then he says, hold him up, I'll hook him. And then he ends up hooking Will. He hooks his own son. Hooks him. And then, I guess bullets, Jennifer Love Hewitt's like, "I need the bullets." Boom, put the bullets in. And even though it's a 6-shooter, she shot Ben Willis about 14 times and he fell into a grave. And then they're at a house some time later that they bought, apparently, with somebody's money or their own money. Or money they stole from a gravesite. Maybe they pillaged a goddamn, hotel cash register. I don't fucking know. It was 1998. You could do that and get away with it. And they have a house, but Julie still sees things like Ben under the bed, and he grabs her. And then sequel, hook. But they wouldn't do another sequel for 8 years. Fuck, this movie sucks. It's Brasilia. The capital is Brasilia. God damn it. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.